He is like profiling.
You make me you make me very uncomfortable, Maury.
That's the end of that.
On several levels. Hello, guys. Welcome to the Pugcast. This is the same show as before. We're just changing the name, or rather updating it. We are the Pugcast. We are the fastest growing channel on YouTube. Don't look that up.
Well, I just hope that Armin doesn't decide that my knees look like a
Armin's going to descend
nice
upon
scratching
us.
post.
Pugcast, special guests. Here we go. We're the Pug Boys.
Come on, Maury.
We're just Pug Boys doing what Pug Boys do. Live streaming with Sun and Pug.
Maury is just sacking out again. He was awake for a minute or two.
Weekend streams.
I looked for one of...
Come watch.
Are we on yet?
We're on. I'm just posting the link.
Okay.
Basically, I said live streaming with Sun and Pug, the return of the weekend streams. Come watch. Is that adequate?
Susan already has her Pug video up there.
Wow.
So
Thank you, Susan. Oh, I see that. That's incredible.
I need to
Okay,
refresh.
I'm posting it now.
You know, I was looking for one of Simi's slippers because Maury likes to go after those, but I couldn't find it. I thought she had it sitting here somewhere.
My gosh. I think Susan posted.
Yeah, I don't have the link. Oh, there it is.
Yeah, I put it in there, but I also put it into her chat 'cause she was asking about it. I'm also going to put it in our Discord.
Yeah, I'm getting the audio now. Should I be getting that, or I need to mute?
You should probably mute it, because then it's going to duplicate.
Okay, got it.
But here we go. The return of Pugs. Oh, and Maury's just knocked out.
Like I said,
already.
he was actually awake like for a whole minute.
A whole minute?
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah, Steven asked you put him in pink. Well, that's his blanket. Okay, the blanket.
Maury,
if you can't
Armin,
see
stop, please. Okay.
is Dalmatians.
Ew.
And I didn't pick it for him.
Oh my gosh, I just love that. Dudes, you put him in pink. Dudes.
Do I need to take Armin out? Because I can.
Take him out how?
I'll put him outside and lock his little door.
Nah, he's fine for now.
Right.
He's fine for now. We're up to 20 viewers. Look at all that Maury's accomplished. Where's my OBS tab? There we go. I know what I'm doing. Let me just find.
Is this now Mom is watching show? No, Calvin.
I just picked a new name because he told me to.
Yeah.
Hey, Dad.
Pugcast, I
Dad,
guess.
can you adjust your camera so it's facing you this time?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah,
we can still rename it.
Just
too,
reach out and grab it.
The whole thing.
Yeah, the whole thing.
All right. Tell me when it's right.
I guess this is as good as I'm gonna get it. Maybe if you were a little more this way.
A little more this way?
Yeah, that way.
Okay. Oh, here's Armin. He's going to be flying out of here soon.
Armin, you're a degenerate. Anyway.
He is just going to be flying out here.
Look, you guys see this?
I'll get him.
That's my microphone, Armin. Okay. Hey, Dad.
Come
here. Yeah.
Come on, now he knows he's getting tossed out.
He's pressing stuff on the keyboard. He's hacking us, Dad. He's hacking us.
He's liking it, too, because he's purring.
Hackers. Dad, we just had our first cybersecurity fraud. We have a star is born. Hey guys, great to see you again. Hi everybody. Going to get coffee. Don't start yet. You had like a month to get coffee. We haven't been doing this forever.
If he opens that door, then we'll know we're in trouble.
Yeah.
So.
Are you guys warm enough? Poor Armin.
It's not really tight, so he might be able to open it. He didn't grow any thumbs, so that wouldn't be it.
Oh, no, his
Are you guys warm enough? Okay, I want to address the temperature right away. Go ahead, Calvin. Ask me, how cold was it in our garage?
How cold was it in the garage?
Well, when we were without power for 4 days, we emptied our refrigerator and just sat the food in the garage. Yeah. And we didn't have to throw anything away.
Yeah, our garage is
actually
just
basically we're doing the show from a refrigerator.
With lights.
Yeah, with lights. Now, I'll grant it's a little warmer now.
I have a question. Is that tea or coffee?
That's tea.
Okay, is that tea hot enough to be giving off steam, or is just the cold air?
No, it's hot enough.
Okay.
I just made it. But we're probably in the 40s, pushing 50 here, but it was in the 20s. in here. So when we lost power, that's literally what we did. Armin needs a fan club. No, Armin needs some manners is what Armin needs.
Okay, we already have a question about the new Star Wars. I don't think the new Star Wars was a very SJW, other than the pink-haired character. I don't think it was a very SJW movie. Here's the thing. I liked it when I saw it, right?
Who was the pink-haired girl?
The pink-haired girl was the girl that no one liked.
That's probably why I can't remember.
Yeah, she was like one of Princess Leia's pals or something dumb like that, right?
Really?
She had the pink hair and it was up, and she was really irritating and annoying.
Why can't I picture?
Man, I wish I was you right now.
Is it the one who was like the commander? Like
yeah.
Laura Dern? She had pink hair?
Yeah, she had like pinkish hair, kind of.
Oh, okay. Well, she was annoying to me for a different reason.
Oh.
Just because she's Laura Dern.
Okay, that's fair.
But
like oh my gosh. So who's the guy who directed the first new Star Wars movie? Was it Abrams?
Yeah, it was Abrams, yeah.
I saw a TED Talk with him, right? And he was talking about how stories are like mystery boxes of ideas, right?
Yeah.
And he did this, he talked in an interview where someone, I don't know if it was him saying or like a colleague of his saying it, but apparently this, like the twists that he was setting up in that first movie, he didn't even know the answers to them before like putting the movie out.
Did he go on to direct the latest season of the X-Files?
Maybe.
Because that's kind of like what's going on there too.
Yeah, but like I have like this friend who was like super invested in, the character Rey, right? Oh, what happened to Rey's parents in the new movie? I haven't seen it yet. And I'm trying to like, cause they're asking me questions and they don't want it spoiled, but how do I say there's literally nothing to it without shattering their expectations? I didn't like it. I thought the character Rose was really irritating. I like the new mechanic girl. There's really no reason for her to be in the story. You could cut out the entire like casino world thing and nothing would be lost.
Yep. Chaos Tamer says plot holes, destroying Mark Hamill's Luke, no backstory to Snoke, Rey's Mary Soonest going to the extreme.
Okay, honestly, I don't mind the new Luke, and this is why. The only way people would be happy is if the new Luke, is if like this portrayal of Luke did everything that he did in the other movies, right? But then he would just be recycling the same stuff he's already done. He has to change as a character.
But there's a good argument to be made that Star Wars just recycled the elements of the first one. They just did it worse.
I think you can make the argument for the first movie, probably.
Okay. All right.
And maybe
that's
for a little bit in
I thought the second one was a little better.
I thought the second one had some deviation in it. I liked Mark Hamill. Here's the thing. I never had a real attachment to any of the characters from the original movies because I grew up in an era where all of the twists from all the Star Wars movies, everyone knew them. There wasn't any real power behind the movies when I saw them because everything in those movies had become such a trope that to me it felt very cliched, right? It's like watching The Shining today, right? Because that's one of the things that
Makissa says she's being real generous here. About the X-Files, I guess it wasn't awesome.
It wasn't awesome.
Yeah, that's about as generous as you can get right there. Let's see here. I got to use my finger on my touch screen here because every time I touch my mouse, the audio goes back on for some reason. Oh, let's see here. Yeah, the X-Files not awesome either. Boy, yeah, don't even get me started. It's like
The Last Jedi has no payoff. It was so boring.
The television event of my lifetime is now unwatchable.
But here's the thing:
there it is in a sentence.
I have a question about The Last Jedi. Someone said it had no payoff, but like it's like supposed to be the second movie in a trilogy, right? Isn't the whole point of the second movie to kind of set up the third one? Like, I know it's been a very, very long time since I've seen the original Star Wars movies, but what was like the huge payoff at the end of the second movie? Like what was the final act of the second movie?
I don't know. I can just think of ways that it would have been much more interesting.
I mean, I could think of like an infinite amount of ways it would have been much more interesting.
I don't
get pink-haired lady.
I guess the payoff is that there's still a rebellion.
Get Poe Dameron.
Because you'd think if there wasn't a rebellion, that's like the end of the whole franchise. But I guess that's the payoff is we're gonna do another one. I don't know. I'm guessing here.
Here's the thing. To me, a lot of the rebellion storyline has lost all of its weight to me because every single Star Wars movie I've ever seen that has the rebellion, it can be summarized in, the rebels weak, and then it was against all odds. They have this victory that's kind of like a minor victory in the grand scheme of things, and then they're weak again afterwards, and they have another victory. Then they're still weak. Another victory, still weak. It's like this never-ending, super boring,
it would have been so much more
game
interesting
of racquetball.
to see Okay, I can actually remember his name because the second one was better. No, Kylo.
Oh, Kylo.
To have him switch sides, because that sets up all sorts of conflict.
Yeah.
There's conflict with the Empire. There's conflict with the Rebellion. 'Cause everybody hates him, but he wants to like switch. That would have been unexpected, and it would have just created tension no matter what you did with the next time around. But I think they took the safe way out.
I think out of all the new characters in the new Star Wars movies, Kylo Ren's the one I like the most. I wouldn't say he's like an incredible character by any means, but he's the one I like the most. The one I like the least is probably Rose.
Yeah,
you make Star Wars movie and you name a character
impressed.
Rose. There's like you name a character Rose.
Are there any Roses in that galaxy?
like here's the thing. Like I know Luke Skywalker has a regular name, and Han Solo. You can see someone having that name, but then you got people named like Chewbacca. You got like people with exotic names, and you just have this girl named Rose, a super regular name.
Oh yeah, what can we say? Now somebody, I wanted to pick up. Oh yeah, Rich in Spirit Man says happy 2018. Thank you for wishing us the best. So far, 2018's been okay. We're not very far in it.
Okay, we have a non-Star Wars thing real quick.
Okay.
From Bryson Townsend.
Oh yeah, which book was hardest to write? Out of which ones? Did we miss part of the question before?
Let me control F that. Look how techie I am.
Roger says the truth about Ray's parents has not necessarily yet been told. Now Roger, I think you're confusing it with the X-Files, because it's only in the X-Files that you get to forget about the previous, reboot and then do something altogether different. But Bryson
didn't elaborate. He just said which book in general was the hardest to write. And if you can't find a specific one, just name a couple.
That's cheating.
Well, yeah, but
you know what? I actually do have an answer for that. If I think of the books I've done, the hardest to write was Supernatural, because I had never. Okay, I probably told this story before, but I'm going to tell it again to explain my answer. The day that I went into the office, and Lexham, who was the publisher, it's the print arm of where I work. They'd been in existence for a couple of years, and they'd, done a dozen or so titles, whatever it was. But they all knew that this one was going to be different. So we went in to talk about Unseen Realm. Well, they had hired this external book launch company, and they, and along with my boss, all agreed that, yes, we want you to write Unseen Realm, but we also want you to write Supernatural. It's a trade book, the cookies on the low shelf, kind of thing for people who were new to the content. And so here were my instructions, literally. I'm not making this up. This is literally what was said. Because I asked them, well, how do you write a trade book? What is that? They said, this is the kind of book that'll be sold in a Christian bookstore. So here are your rules. No footnotes, no argumentation, never present more than one view. You only present your view. And here's the kicker line.
Funny.
Just say it and they'll believe it. Okay, that just felt wrong.
That's some like 1984 stuff. It's 84, right?
But here's the logic. They must have seen the look on my face like, I don't know that I can do that or even want to. But their explanation was, look, someone who walks into a Christian bookstore, when they buy a book that's nonfiction, they assume that whoever wrote it is an expert. It's not like writing academic material where you have to prove that you're fit to write academic material. They don't care. They just don't care. They assume that if there's a book here that has your name on it, you're an expert. So that's why they said, just tell them. Just say it and they'll believe it. And that was really hard to do. That was really hard for me to do. So I think I would come down on that one. That was an entirely different exercise, but I think it turned out, pretty well.
So which was the hardest book to write?
Supernatural.
Okay, Supernatural.
Yeah. Okay, Susan says, for the portent, can't wait for the relic. See, now Susan has not been following the website. The relic did not win the naming contest. The naming contest, we had over 1,000 people vote on the title of the next novel, and by I think it was less than 20. I know it was less than 20 votes, so it was really tight. It was like 12, 13, 14 votes apart. But the cipher won the contest. So that's the name of the third book. And funny you should mention that.
All right.
I want the audience to see the kind of
you got
things.
books with you.
Yes, these are the kind of things I'm reading for. I'm still working on that astronomy, biblical astronomy, astral stuff book.
1 sec, I got it.
But that's going to feed into the novel. So here's an example of the kind of things I'm reading to prepare for not only that book but the novel. Okay, see if can you get this on the. Is that on?
I switched off your view because of how awkwardly you're positioned in frame.
Okay. Am I better? Because I want to show these titles.
I'm quickly just bringing everything back to how it was. I tried to do a little adjustment. Didn't work. Okay.
Do I need to move over?
Here's the thing. I want to move the camera more this way, right?
Okay.
Oh, look, it's like a home video. It's not. Oh, good Lord. But I just need you to move way more to your left because oh my goodness, what's happening? Because if I moved it more,
you can tell we haven't been set up for a while.
No, I mean it's not just like lack of setup. It's that just like where your little computer stuff is.
No.
Okay. Well, moving the camera closer is a bit better. Just if you were to, the only thing I'd do is I'd move this a bit.
Okay,
here,
that's good.
and if you want to show something, you should hold it up on, with your right side.
This side?
That's your left. Oh wait, sorry.
This is my right.
I'm mixed up. Your left. Your left. Yeah, your left. Your left. Just like around
like
there.
Like that? Okay.
Yeah, and I'll switch you back on in about
right.
have a second. And there you go.
All right, here's one of the books I'm reading. The Star of Bethlehem and Babylonian Astronomy. Yes, you read that title correctly. Here's another one. The Babylonian Theory of the Planets. This is a scholarly work. The other one is not a scholarly peer-reviewed work, but here you go. Here's one for you, another one.
I'm sorry for laughing.
Mysteries and Discoveries of Archaeoastronomy. And finally, I have to read the subtitle here, The Head of All Years. Subtitle is Astronomy and Calendars at Qumran, which is where the Dead Sea Scrolls were discovered in their ancient context.
Hey, Dad, we got a suggestion for what your fourth book should be named.
Okay, what should it be named?
Mama's Watching.
Well, these I have sitting out on my desk, so none of those are a surprise to Mom. However, if she looks at the Amazon receipts, she might get a surprise there. But some of those are pretty pricey. But I think I got all of them used except for one. So yeah, so we're heavily into ancient calendars, archaeoastronomy, pyramid positioning, landscape positioning of like objects in ancient Egypt, Dead Sea Scrolls stuff. It's going to be cool. Grant says, looks like cool stuff to me. Obviously, Grant, you're an intelligent watcher, listener, reader.
Just below his message, that was an interesting question, I think.
Okay.
Have you ever covered this question before? I assume you have. It's, what's the best argument for God being perfectly moral? I ask for people who believe God exists but isn't moral.
He asks on behalf of people
on behalf.
who believe God exists but isn't
asking
moral.
For a friend,
Well, I usually this question comes in relationship to suffering. I think that the problem in the way that the question is worded is perfectly moral, because then if we say perfectly moral, then we get to define that, which sort of undermines the question. I go back to, why is there evil in the world? And it isn't because God is causing it, or God needs it, or God wants it, but that's usually where the question comes out of. So, God, if you don't have God as the cause of evil, then why would you even ask the question about God being perfectly moral? You say, well, evil happens and God lets it happen. Yeah, God lets it happen because he chose earlier to not make us robots. So if God were perfectly moral, we wouldn't exist. He would just wipe us all out, or not create us anyway in the beginning. But since he did that and he gave us free will, then we either have to say, I'm okay with God's decision to give us free will, or I'd rather not exist. So that's part of the question. I would rather exist. I'm glad that I exist. And since God, is going to steer things to the direction he wants them to go, wants everything to go, for those who do one simple thing, and that is believe, trust him, even if they suffer in this life, they will be rewarded in the next. And God can take suffering, and does on a moment-by-moment basis in this life, and use it to thwart evil in other ways. Now, we're dissatisfied with that because we don't get to see, in many cases, how God thwarts evil. But he does. If you listen to testimonies, if you listen to people's stories, they are filled with providential sorts of things like this that show God doing great things out of the most unimaginable evil. But we're impatient. We want to see it happen right now. We want to see evil get its just desserts immediately. And we want to see God do something wonderful with that in real time, like in the next 5 minutes. And that is often not the way things go. Why? Not because God is weak or God didn't anticipate that. God decided to use people to run the affairs of this world. He intervenes when he wants to, but he can't intervene too much because that would take away our free will. So it all goes back to God's decision about our existence. So would you rather exist or not, is really what it comes down to. So I don't know if that works with the phrasing perfectly moral, but that's the way Scripture presents things. And again, I'd rather exist. Evil sucks, and it's easy to say that if you're not under the worst of circumstances. But again, people who've been under the worst of circumstances would take that position and be glad that something was produced out of their suffering, and they accept it. I got a good example for you. It's a guy called Jesus. Okay, about the worst circumstances you can possibly imagine. So God is no stranger to this, and his prior decision affected his own son. So again, it's not like God doesn't have an interest in this, but all of this is based upon his past decisions. Go ahead.
And he adds, to put it another way, and this is just a simple like yes or no. Well, I don't know if it's a yes or no, but it's like, to put it another way, can God be immoral? I'm sure he would have the capability to do that, yeah, but would he? Has he been immoral?
Yeah, I don't think God has been immoral, because God gets to steer things, toward the ends to which he wants them. And on one level, he's his own standard. We'll grant that, but he's not going to do things inconsistent with his own character. And his own character is that he loves humanity, and the proof of that is that we exist. Okay, ultimately, that's the proof of that.
I'm gonna go get a second jacket. Keep talking for a bit.
Yeah, go ahead. I need to go. There's a number of things back here that I want. What do you think of David Hart's New Testament translation? I'm not familiar with it, so I don't have a comment. Makissa asks, is that Mazarot stuff? Yeah, to some extent. There's a whole chapter in the nonfiction book on ancient Jewish astronomy / astrology, and I have to define astrology in that book very broadly. Astrology would be anyone who assigns religious meaning or significance to what's happening in the heavens. So, we're used to thinking of that term negatively, but there was actually a theologically orthodox view of that, and of course lots of aberrant perspectives on that too. And Mazarot, is part of that, but it's certainly not confined to that. Let's see here. Interested in Chaos's question about Dever, Mot, Ketev, and Reshef. No, I didn't see that. Let's go back here. Oh, I hope it doesn't take too long here. Boy, there's some other things that meant. Do the four horsemen of the apocalypse have any connection or origin to Yahweh's Old Testament doom squad with gods such as Reshef, Dever, Ketev, and Mot? That's an interesting question. I just actually got done writing a chapter on those four. The chapter. This is for the book I'm working on during the daytime for Lexham. a book on demons. And those things are, the Old Testament demythologizes those things. What that means is that the Old Testament writers didn't conceive of separate independent deities in charge of things like plague and famine, that sort of thing. You don't have war and bloodshed, even though Resheph is associated with warfare, arrows and such. Instead, God wields those powers, and the Canaanite deities that were thought to be in control of those things are essentially subservient beings. But I have never seen anybody connect that to the four horsemen of Revelation. So the short answer is, I don't know. I've never seen that. Never really thought about it. That's an interesting trajectory. I'll look and see if I can find anything specific on that. But I just went through a truckload of material on that and didn't find that at all. It would really be hard. Let me put it this way. Mot, death, the Canaanite thinking about death that becomes part of or contributes to the way death is talked about and expressed in the Old Testament. Mot does find its way or his way into the New Testament. Death, where is thy sting? 1 Corinthians 15. But I've not seen any specific proper names repurposed in the New Testament among those other four. But that's interesting. I'll have to look that up and see if anybody has tracked on that at all. If you're a doctoral student, there's your dissertation right there. Let's see here. Let's see here.
Hey, Dad, guess what?
Yeah. Go ahead.
What if I told you that Maury was the star of his own show called the Pugcast?
Yeah, well, it'd be nice if he woke up.
He's a big, bright, shining star.
Yeah, let's see.
I'm gonna activate Pugcam.
Let's see here.
Oh my gosh, Dad! You know those nature live streams where people watch birds hatch for like 6 years? We should have that with Maury, where it's just like a 6-year stream of him trying to wake up.
I'm telling you, if you find Summit slippers, that might get a rise out of him.
Maury,
because he really likes those slippers.
You see this face?
Yeah.
Look at his eyes. Look at what he's seeing. He's seeing wars.
He's got one open. He got a bath today, so maybe he's just still recovering from that. Let's see here. Yeah, how the ancients understand the nature of celestial stars? They view them as actual sentient beings. That's one of those questions where if you ask 10 men on the street, women on the street, that question, you're going to get a spectrum of answers. So all the above. There was no one view, in other words. I keep thinking I'm missing an earlier question here. Yeah, bundle up, Calvin.
I'm wearing the Stranger Things hoodie now.
I'd like a print edition of the LEB. Boy, I don't know if they're going to produce it in print or not. It shows you how out of the loop I am on that. I mean, we did let Zondervan produce the Faith Life Study Bible notes that in the software are married to LEB, but I don't know that they're going to produce anything in hard copy on that.
Man, these pop filters,
thanks,
Dad.
Amy, for that comment.
Dad, we have a problem.
What's our problem?
These pop filters are so close to the mics that the utility that they would regularly have, they do not have.
Okay.
We need...
That's a problem to solve when we're not on the air.
Because I just realized I was trying to adjust it, and I just grinded it against the mic. Do you like the sound?
I love
it. we got to fix that at some point. That's all I wanted to say.
All right. I got to go. Yeah, thanks, Ken. Mike's recommended reading list is available at his main website. That's true. Let me take a swallow here. The cold's getting to me.
John Hoover asks what the temperature is in the studio, and the answer is like 40 degrees or something like that.
Yeah, it's about 40.
Yeah, 40-ish. Someone says they have a thesis for Maury. I used pugnacious in my thesis for Maury.
That's awesome.
Is Maury collecting college theses?
No, he's not. No, he's not.
He really does look like a professor, though.
The question or the comment that Ken has about the recommended reading list, if you go to drmsh.com, It's under resources, I believe, at the bottom. Or no, it's under books. Books at the bottom on the drop-down menu is recommended books, recommended reading on all sorts of topics. So that's the first place to go if you're interested in what I recommend for this, that, or the other thing. Yeah, and again, I don't know if we're going to see a print LEB. I'm scrolling here with my finger here. Let's see here. We got the Deborah Reshef thing. Yeah, you're welcome. Search for Truth. Thanks for that. Let's see. I wish I could. Let me try to use my mouse again. See if the audio automatically goes on. So far, so good.
Resurrection Jose.
Yes.
I can't read from here.
Someone has one. The DDD.
What is the DDD?
The Dictionary of Deities and Demons.
Oh, okay.
I still haven't gotten confirmation that they've gotten it. I mean, for those of you who've gone on Amazon, you know that it's hard to find that for like under $500. I found one that was just under 200, so that's in good to very good condition. So that's the one that I ordered and sent to the winner. We also had a winner for the Archie Wright's book. I think no, I don't know if that's the one they picked. There was one where you could pick one from 3. Gene says my peak had a bath today as well. Love the podcast. Does he like baths? Because Maury doesn't really like baths.
I don't think Maury really likes anything, though.
Maury likes napping. Okay.
Maury likes sleeping.
My wife is not home right now. She's on the East Coast, and she'll be back soon. So, you know, when we had our power outage, we started letting Maury sleep with us in our bed. It's the first time we did that, and basically he has an unbroken string now. It's going on 2 weeks. So I didn't.
He really is like an infant.
You know, well, he is like an infant, but you know, we started that because it was like we thought he'd be out of sorts. So we're not regretting it yet. We might come to regret it. Then he'll go back, and he has a little crate that he sleeps in, his little safe space. Or at least that's the way he treats it. He likes his crate. But.
Sorry, you said the word safe space, and I thought of like this old Jordan Peterson video of like him on campus surrounded by like SJWs.
I think you watch a little too much SJW taunting.
Well, not necessarily taunting.
Did you hear that? Did you hear Maury snore?
Yeah, but here's the thing. I don't go searching for it. I just find it a lot. It's like searching for trees in Washington. Mm-hmm. It's like searching for traffic jams in LA. It's like searching for wisdom in Maury's infinite.
Why is it called the Pugcast?
Because Maury is the backbone of this show.
Right. Maury's why people watch. So we know. We're giving him credit there.
What's a Pugcast?
Dave said, I have a question. I've heard you say there was Jewish teaching about rebel spirits being released from the abyss before the day of the Lord. I'd love to hear what those sources say.
Are you familiar? Wait, Dad, this is an interesting question because I was telling you about this like 6 months ago.
Go ahead.
Question from Resurrection. I can't read it. Let me zoom in. Resurrection Jose says, are you familiar with the social media outlet Minds? And I was telling you about this because during the first wave of YouTube demonetization, I was telling you about this new social media site called minds.com or mind.com or something like that.
Is that the one that was set up in response?
Yes. Yes.
I remember going to that.
I'm not sure how it's doing it now.
Yeah.
I think like I don't think it's very used right now. I haven't heard about it in a while.
Well, if you haven't heard about it, then it's not like picking up steam.
Well, then again, Facebook is like the most popular thing ever, and I never hear anything about Facebook because I never use Facebook. So it could just be outside my bubble.
Fair enough.
It could just be outside my bubble.
Yeah. Back to the abyss question. What I'm referring to there is Second Temple Jewish tradition. Pretty much unanimously, if you have texts that talk about the Watchers, they have them being released, before the day of the Lord, the time of the end. And some scholars think, and there's, it's not a perfect argument, but there's enough there to think about it. They would argue that Revelation 9 is the New Testament version of that release. So that's, in a nutshell, that's what that's about. Oh, let's see here. With what level of certainty do we know that what ancient Israelite thought was? Aren't some of the oldest documents regarding Jewish law commentary etc., from post-Tannaitic writings? Well, that's basically the answer to your own question. I mean, the answer to Jewish law, if you're referring to the tradition about how to interpret Torah, your observation is correct. Most of that is going to be late, as you point out, but people know that it's late. People know, where that corpus comes from. And so when it comes to biblical law, there are those who would say, and I'm sort of one of them. I mean, I'm not going to say that none of that stuff has any insight. That would be too much of an exaggeration. But I'll put it this way. A lot of the rabbis in these late periods are just making stuff up. Okay, what they say about the meaning of certain passages and certain laws has little relationship to what that passage would have meant in its ancient Near Eastern context. That just happens because they're just like anybody else. They're living centuries later, and they don't have access to comparative material like Hammurabi's code. I mean, nobody's getting access to that in the Middle Ages. So, what they say is their own tradition. Some of it's pretty contrived, passed on, but that doesn't mean that what they say has no value. But it's very easy for scholars to distinguish one from the other. Let's see here.
We got a message from Drina Heiser. Hey, handsome duds.
Oh boy, mom strikes.
Isn't a dud like an explosive that doesn't activate properly? I feel insulted. Cyberbullying.
Okay, now we have to decide: is that mom bullying us, or did she just misspell that?
I like to think she was typing it, saw it was misspelled, and then thought it was funny. That's how I know she meant dudes. He ruined it, Mom.
Oh man.
Amy Bradley says LOL in all caps.
Mom's chiming in again from the East Coast. I meant dudes.
Mom. Back at it again with the laughing, crying emoji. I disown you.
Oh boy. So what did we learn? We learned that yes, Mom is watching.
Yeah.
And what else did we learn?
Mom's always watching.
Yeah. Come on, what else did we learn? Yeah, I want you to be in trouble, not me.
Duds. Being called a dud isn't a bad thing.
Okay, that's a good answer.
It's okay to be a late bloomer. I miss Maury.
Oh boy. That was pretty good.
Stop it, Mom. Now people are putting capital LOLs and laughing, crying emojis in the comment sections. It's like 2008 Facebook. Stop it.
All right.
Get some help.
Oh boy. Now she says I miss Maury. Okay, give her a shot of Maury.
Okay, I'll give you a shot of Maury.
Okay, first we need to give Maury an injection of adrenaline.
Hey Maury, Mom's here. Oh wow.
And Mom, while you're listening, why don't you text Simi to bring one of her slippers down? That'll wake Maury up.
Maury, let me hold your face. Let me prop it up on a pedestal.
Maury, over here.
Look at
Mom
face.
wants to see you.
Look at that face. Look at that judgmental look. See that, Mom? You did this to him.
He's depressed since you left. I think he actually is a little depressed since she left.
Probably, yeah.
No, I'd believe it. He was really mopey the first day or so, and now he's just sort of normal mopey.
He's just kind of low energy.
He was like extra mopey. Oh boy.
If Maury was one of the 7 dwarves, which would he be and why?
Sleepy.
Yeah.
That's easy.
I feel like he could easily apply to like 3 or 4 of them.
Okay, now do you see what Mom put?
No, I did not.
Yeah, we'll take a look at that after we show.
Oh, my baby.
Oh,
Heart
my
emoji.
baby. Yeah. Yeah, we know how we rate. So.
What a mug for a pug. Thank you, Susan. Just Susan. That's her whole name.
Yeah, I don't see any substance to Yahweh was a smith god, like I guess a metalsmith or something. Yeah. Yes, Mom is watching. She indeed is watching. Oh,
Have you ever?
Go ahead.
Have you ever been like wandering around? Like it's late, right? It's like 2 or 1, and you wake up and you're hungry and you go down to get like water or something, and you feel in the back of your mind that like something's there, but you can't prove it. That's Mom watching. It's Mom watching.
Well, at that time it may be her because she'll get up to put wood on the fire.
No, I mean not us, just everyone in general. You don't have to be at home, but Just know mom's watching. Our mom specifically.
Yeah. Hey, I can't give any specific information out, but Trey and I, let's see, today's Saturday. Yesterday, we had some talk about the Naked Bible Conference for the summer.
Will Maury be there?
I don't think Maury will be there.
Okay.
I'm thinking about bringing Maury to Spokane.
Oh my gosh,
though.
can you imagine you got people, you're like signing books and people are petting Maury?
Well, I'm thinking about bringing him to Spokane. That's in March, but we're talking about the one in the summer. Yeah.
If you bring Maury, I'm going to come too.
Well, if you can be his handler, how's that?
Professional pug handler.
Yeah, pug
can I put that on? Oh my gosh! Can my resume? Can my resume have the title Pug Wrangler?
Sure.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. But I'm not at liberty to say anything final or conclusive, but things are really looking positive to have a conference this summer. We'll probably know, in a few weeks, maybe a month, because Trey is working hard at finalizing details, getting approvals, and all that sort of stuff. It's really a logistic. I don't want to call it a nightmare, but there are a lot of things to think about, and of course, budget for. It'll be expensive, but we think it's doable. So. Yeah, I mean, things are looking up for that. So pay attention to the podcast when we have details that are certain. We will certainly let you know. But for right now, if you're in the Spokane area, the Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, that area, March 2nd through 4th, we are definitely doing that. We're already taking registrations. You go up to my website, drmsh.com. On the right-hand side, click on the calendar for Spokane. I'm going to be there for 3 days. Trey will be there. We still plan on having Trey there. Maury might be there. Wouldn't it be something if that just creates this wave of registrations just to have Maury there? It'd be kind of awful, actually. But
we should invest in the venue and then announce Maury. And then we'll make a profit.
Yeah, well. Yeah. I don't know. Maury doesn't look too enthused.
Maury, well, that's a strategy, right? He doesn't look enthused.
Yeah.
He doesn't look like anything.
It is a strategy.
Because when you're not looking, when no one's watching, or when the cameras are off of him, Maury's doing incredible things.
Yeah.
We got a question from Chaos Tamer. He says, I have a question for both Michael and Calvin.
All right.
If I ever decide to write a comic book / novel series, can I make characters based on both of you guys? What's your answer, Dad?
That's fine with me, but I want my name to be Maury. How's that? So I get it before you do.
Okay. You get the name Maury. I'll take Armin with 2 N's. I'll be Armin with 2 N's.
Yeah.
Assuming you do change the names.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah. Just if it's a superhero thing, don't make me fly.
Don't give me a cape, right?
Don't give me a cape. Don't give me a fedora.
You can trip over the
Do
cape.
not give me a fedora.
Oh,
anyway.
There you go.
Don't give me a fedora. Don't give me a cape.
Grant asked, are there any dates in mind? This would be late in the summer. We're negotiating again right now. Nothing is decided or set in stone, but late July or into August. That's about all I can say right now.
We got something.
And it really is all I can say right now because we're still negotiating with the venue. Susan says, "Oh, please bring Maury."
I'd love to meet him.
Yeah.
5 periods.
Yeah.
Winky face.
Oh,
are you gonna kidnap our dog?
There you go.
Are you gonna kidnap our dog?
No. Maury will. Yeah, he'll have to have his own security. We didn't think of that.
His own security detail. I'll bring 6 people.
Boy.
Okay. So, look, that got him up.
Yeah.
Basically, Dad, have you ever, how when the president goes from place to place, there's like a 16-car convoy?
Yeah.
It'll be like that, except with just people walking around, and one of those people will be Maury, and no one will know.
Right. He'll definitely need another bath before then.
Bad Ideas is still waiting for Maury's stories.
Fringe Pop update. Okay, we should say a few things about that. We are in the process of. Again, I can't say too much. We need to move the studio location. We have a couple of candidates for that. in the next probably 2, 3, 4 weeks, we'll be visiting sites and making a decision. It won't be a huge. It'll be work obviously to move the whole studio, the props and everything, but it's certainly not an insurmountable task. We hope to get that done soon, so I can do another round of filming in April. As far as the release, we will probably know more certainly at the end of, maybe on into February, because we hired somebody to help us with editing. So based upon what they're able to do, like a rate, how quickly they can do the editing and sort of what that looks like in a number of hours per episode, all that kind of thing. That will dictate when we actually launch the channel. So on the one hand, there's been a delay because we have an editing backload, but on the other hand, we have the people to do it. So stay tuned for that. Let's see here.
Hey, Dad.
Carla says, "Hi, Mom."
Hey, Dad.
It's Hydrina. She'll want everybody to
respect
to
your
know
name.
That's her real name.
Respect your name. Her name's Drenna.
Yeah, it's Drina.
Drenna.
Donna.
Donna.
You're getting back at the duds thing.
Dreyfus.
We shouldn't do that. So.
Anyway, the movie thing, Dad.
Yeah.
I had some ideas for it.
Okay.
I was thinking Maury's Movie Emporium is still my go-to title.
Mm-hmm.
Maury isn't just our mascot. He should be the CEO. We should base financial decisions off of how much he perks up when we say them.
It's kind of like in the ancient Near East when they read sheep livers. There's so many spots on this, and that means that. We can look at Maury and say okay, he moved this many times in this direction in the last hour.
It's like when ancient navigators rip open a bird, and wherever it's heartlands, they should predict the weather.
Right.
It's like in medieval times when dogs had military rank. It's like that. The movie series is great. And after the stream, I want to show you some videos of a guy. His channel name is Brutal Moose. An amazing channel. I have to show you his videos. But if we ever did movie reviews, I want them to be in that format.
Yeah. I should say Calvin and I are going to have a guest contributor to the movie thing. And if you're listening, guest contributor, you will very likely hear from
Carla Atkins.
tomorrow or Monday about how we're going to take our first whack at that. So stay tuned. We are going to do something. Basically, we need to decide now how much forethought is going to go into each episode. Are we going to put research into it? Or are we just going to wing it? Or something in between. So
someone says in response to using animals to predict things, Susan says count his wrinkles.
Right. But see that. Well, I was just going to say, but they won't change. But we could maybe they will change. If
hey, he just got bathed. What was it, bathed or groomed?
Yeah.
Or both?
Well,
kind of.
Yeah.
Maybe it changed then.
Or we get how much dirt we get out of the wrinkles.
Yeah, we can measure it out. Hey, he did it. He did the thing.
What?
Oh my gosh! He
heard wrinkles and.
Oh my gosh!
Look, they're missing.
He just looked at me and he shook his head like this, and then looked away. let me get a better shot of that.
If you mention
pugs,
cleaning or bathing, then he just
pug screen. Check this out, Dad. You ever seen action like this? we got the shaky cam on him.
Okay, that's really not him. No, that's not going to fool anybody.
Why?
Because it just won't. They're used to him by now.
What a pug.
Oh, let's see here. I'm not sure what Josh means by doing a gospel podcast. You could elaborate on that. There's Susan count his wrinkles. Okay. Let's see here.
We would be here all day.
No.
Yeah, I'm not doing that much work.
Let's see here. Let's see. Does Maury ever get a burst of energy when he comes in from the cold? Maury is the most... Okay, I'm not making this up. Maury is the most energetic in the morning and right before it's bedtime.
Yeah, I can confirm.
Because you take him out, he does his thing, comes in, and he typically eats, but sometimes either before or after he eats, he wants to play. And he's just all over your feet. He's biting at them, tearing at your socks.
Maury's only done that to me once.
He wants
because
to
he thought I
throw
was
it.
Mom.
Wants you to throw his fox.
Oh my gosh, his little fox toy.
Yeah, he has his
I
little
love that.
fox toy now. And where, you know what, we need to take a video of this, because if you step on the fox's tail where he can't pull it away from you, he just goes berserk. He's like, he turns into this vicious animal.
Let's bully Maury, Dad.
Yeah, let's bully Maury for the camera. But like, he'll be snarling,
Daddy
and
05?
barking. It's just funny. We get a kick out of it. Let's see. My pug wouldn't travel at all. He has panic attacks. Now, Maury will sleep in the car. He doesn't have panic attacks, so he'd be okay. There we go. Yeah. More wrinkles when he smiles. He is smiling.
Maury's face is always a smile.
Oh.
Fox Mulder chew toy.
Jeffrey Dougherty, the Christian whistleblower, is that a time travel? Yeah, if he claims to be a time traveler, yes, you're correct. He's a nutcase.
Oh, wait, Dad. You want to know who the real nutcase is?
Okay.
This super wealthy flat earther who's building a rocket to prove the Earth is flat.
Okay, that wins.
I worked it in. I talk about flat Earth every episode. Let me look this guy up. Flat earther building
Fox
rocket.
Mulder chew toy. Boy, after this season, it ought to be. Maybe a Chris Carter chew toy. Yeah, I'll pug sit. Volunteered first. Carla, are you in the Spokane area, or you're just going to make the trip to be the pug governess? Boy, Maury's getting some. What do we want to call it? It's not pushback, but people are just on him now to make the trip to Spokane. Why not? So he opened his eyes. I don't know if that's approval or disapproval. Thoughts on the Turpin family case? I'm not familiar with it.
Okay, I'll look that up right now.
People are saying they were full. Is this the people who like imprisoned their kids? Again,
I've heard of that.
They would also be nutcases, and in their case, evil nutcases. Because you want a lot of kids doesn't mean that you imprison them.
But do they believe in flat Earth?
Who knows?
Oh yeah.
If they believe it's okay to imprison their kids,
like,
I don't really care what else they believe.
Even if I didn't know what happened, like, Dad, like, I'm gonna pull up some pictures of them. But like, you look at them and you instantly know they would imprison 13 children in a basement.
No.
They look like, I don't mean to make light of the situation, but they look like meth heads.
Well, who knows? I mean, I know of the case.
Shout out to the meth heads in the audience.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what it is. The Turpin family is that.
Well, in a nutshell, those are my thoughts. Yeah, quiver full quiver. Yeah. I don't. I'm just wondering if that's a movement
Dutch
or
boy
something.
haircut. Yeah, Nathan, that basically sums it up.
It seems like I've heard of that before, like at a movement level, but I don't know. Yeah, it's disappointing new X-Files season, but at least it's more X-Files. Boy, well, keep telling yourself that over and over and over again. Oh, boy. Like I said, just
what was the worst
so
part of the new X-Files to you?
That they forgot the last reboot they did.
Did they just like ignore it?
Well, when the Cancer Man no longer has like a partial face, but he has a whole face now, that would sort of be like ignoring it. What I'm hoping they don't do is say like this is an alternate universe or this is like a time travel, because that would be like just
Fringe.
so far over. Well, it would be trying to be Fringe and failing badly at it.
That's kind of funny because Fringe was like trying to be X-Files, kind of. I'm not saying that's a bad thing.
Except
like,
they didn't
Fringe
have,
was a great
they didn't
show,
have aliens in it, and it was well done.
Yeah, Fringe was pretty good. Fringe was very good. I liked that a lot.
Oh yeah.
Calvin Heiser, how do you feel about the way they ended Luke Skywalker's story in The Last Jedi? I liked it.
Wouldn't it have been neater though, like if Luke wasn't a hologram?
I mean,
because there's precedent for like Jedi and other films blocking
like insane amounts of
right,
stuff.
yeah.
Oh yeah, like I'm not saying it couldn't have been done better. I'm not saying this like
okay.
the pinnacle of filmmaking. I'm just saying it was all right. Chaos Tamer, like your messages keep getting retracted. Like what's up with that?
What does that mean?
It means that like he's trying to send a message, but it's getting blocked by the system or something. Is he like posting spam links?
Oh, I see him in here. I don't know what.
Oh well, what was his message say on your end?
Deus Ex Files Machina or Machina.
And is that message
never,
right underneath James Tucker's?
I never remember how to pronounce that.
Is James Tucker the one who said right before him?
No.
Oh no, scroll down. His latest
okay,
one.
no, there. Oh yeah, there is a message retracted
Yeah,
under Chaos Tamer. So that I guess that's his end.
Yeah, Makisa 01. I did have a bull haircut at some point. And it was awful.
Yeah. James, thank you for your comment about the content. Spoiler. What's the oh yeah, wow.
What's the spoiler?
Yeah, it's related to the X-Files comment. Again, I'm just hoping that
anyone in this chat who hasn't seen it either doesn't care enough to see it or forgot Star Wars existed.
Oh, let's see here.
But yeah, I think the ending of Luke's role in the new movie was pretty good. I liked it.
Yeah, Grant, you're gonna have to email me something here. That's kind of long, and I'm.
Susan, there is no moderator
sure
here.
Even following it here. Is there a moderator here? No.
No, it's just us.
No, maybe there should be. I don't know. Mom's the moderator on occasion.
Mom is the moderator. In general,
Star Wars is dead to me.
I don't think I'm gonna go that far yet. Here's the thing. Like nothing in these movies, in my opinion, was as bad as the prequels.
Well, yeah, I agreed.
Nothing in the new Star Wars movies, no plot twist they've done, has, in my opinion, been as much of like a middle finger to the audience as Jar Jar Binks or the prequel movies. Here's the thing. Like I know you don't believe it. I don't really believe it either. I just really love it. The Jar Jar is a Sith Lord thing. I like that a lot.
What, like, is that one of the fan conspiracy
theories?
But
like, there's a surprising amount backing it up.
Okay.
And I don't want this. I don't want this to turn into the Star Wars podcast.
Please don't explain that to me.
I've explained it to you before.
Because I'd have to
really
hear
great.
the words. I'd have to hear Jar Jar too many times.
Jar Jar.
So.
Jar Jar's face is terrifying. My first exposure to. Were either of you put off by the humor in the latest Star Wars? Not really. Again, like a lot of it, it's well, I want to say it's subjective. Comedy isn't subjective. What you find funny might be subjective, but like the actual structure of a joke.
Okay, here's a comparison. The humor in Rogue One, where Alan
way better. Way better.
Tudyk, is that
way better?
It was way better.
Way better.
Right, that I loved.
Rogue One is my favorite non-original Star Wars movie.
That was just so much better than this one. Even though I would agree. I mean, some of it was kind of corny and ill-timed, but if you just want to illustrate it by comparison, the stuff in Rogue One was much better. There's as much evidence of Jar Jar being a Sith Lord as there evidence for the flat Earth.
Hi, whatever. Mr. Wonderful says.
There you go. We could have. Wouldn't it be great if like Jar Jar became the emblem
of flat
or
Earth?
The symbol of the flat Earth? Yeah.
Flat Earth.
So
there's something
the
flat
logo,
about him.
Like a flat Earth logo with Jar Jar.
A flat Earth logo with Jar Jar Binks. I think the perfect flat Earth logo would probably be. I'll think about that for a moment. Vote in the comments.
All right. Well, it's coming up on 8:30.
Okay. Well, hype on. Here's the thing. Like the Last Jedi, setting up stuff in the Awakens. The guy who wrote Awakens didn't even know where he was going with the twist. Like J.J. Abrams just like throws mysteries out just for the sake of doing it. He didn't have a plan for Rey's parents. He didn't have a plan for. Okay. You want to talk about the worst thing?
We've got the logo.
Okay. You want to talk about the worst thing I've ever seen in a Star Wars movie? Even worse than the prequels, worse than the new reboot animated show, worse than anything. The worst thing I think a Star Wars movie has ever done. That dumb bug lady with the glasses, where did she get Luke Skywalker from? It's never explained. She just has it. No one questions it. It's like life is like normal afterwards. She just has this priceless relic from the past.
You want to feel better?
It was stupid.
We have the logo.
Look, the flat Earth on Jar Jar's back.
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that I think is definitely worth it.
You want to know what an infinitely better sci-fi adventure movie is than The Force Awakens? Guardians 2. Guardians 2 is way better.
Yeah, Swan Kelly, I kind of agree with that. Yep, absolutely. Oh, wow. Jar Jar Binks built the pyramids. Oh, boy. Well, maybe Jar Jar and Giorgio are related. Who knows? Anyway. Well, it's 8:30. We're going to wrap up. It's our hour. Boy, Maury moved again, so that's a good sign. But we're going to try to, again, be regular with these again. Before we were doing it Friday night. We'll probably go back to Friday nights. This is when it worked this week. But now that we're, again, not sitting in a refrigerator completely, we'll try to come back each week and do an hour. But thanks for watching. Thanks for spending an hour here, or whatever part of the hour you spent.
Jar Jar needs to fight Maury in an epic lightsaber battle. We basically already got that. It was called Yoda versus Count Dooku.
I was going to say, yeah, Yoda and Dooku, yeah. Okay.
Dooku. What a crappy name.
Okay, are we still on?
Yeah, we're still on.
Okay, go ahead. You had to get the Yoda and Dooku thing.
Like, here's the thing. There's a fine line between, like, exotic fantasy names, right, and crappy fantasy names, right? Like, Skywalker as a last name is something that we can understand, but it's not just random gibberish, right? I feel bad for anyone who would name their... Yeah, we are. I just want to say one last thing. If you as a parent decide to name your kid Dooku or like Blue Ivy or something dumb like that, like someone's gonna curb stomp your kid. That's all I'm gonna say. This has been Pugcast episode 1. Buy pugs for pugs. See ya.